everybody. It's Jackie. I am so excited today. I have my friend Ashley with me. She is a dear friend of mine from Colorado. I lived in Colorado for a season of my life in my 20s, and we have reconnected recently, and it's just been so wonderful. But she tried Transform recently. This is our new glucose to fiber supplement. It is an enzyme. It is not a drug. It's an enzyme. It goes into your stomach while you eat. You take it before you eat, and then as your glucose comes in, it turns that into fiber before your insulin can kind of spike up. And it's been amazing for so many people. But Ashley has kind of an interesting story. I don't know that I've necessarily heard a story quite like hers. So Ashley, as comfortable as you are, would you share with everybody just what you have experienced the last 10, 15 years of your life, and then what the first day of Transform did for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yes.
This is very exciting for me, so I'm so glad to share. I have had quite a health journey in the past 15 years. Since I moved to Colorado, I just kind of knew something wasn't really right, and that's in the form of brain fog. I was overwhelmed a lot. I wasn't sleeping very well. I get super cold and all this weird stuff that didn't seem very connected. And I just struggled through that. I had a few children. My postpartum took a really long time. That process took a really long time, where it usually takes people a couple months. It took me 5 years to feel like I was myself again. Yeah. And that's a really long time, especially when you have people running around.
Yeah.
So I just kept digging in. I'm a researcher. I love to learn. So I have been my own guinea pig for 15 years. And I kind of didn't love going to the doctors all the time. I would go, but they wouldn't seem to give me the answers that I was looking for that actually produced results. So I just kept being my own guinea pig. And then it got really bad. In this summer, I kind of crashed big time. I think it was my adrenals. I'm not really sure. But I was exhausted. I stopped being emotional. I couldn't feel my feelings, which is really weird for me because I feel my feelings deep. And my grandfather had passed away, and it was very unexpected, but I couldn't cry. I couldn't mourn for him. I was sad a little, and I was overwhelmed a little, but not like my normal. I would have really process through that in a different way if I was healthy. And so I hid in my house for a very long time and just tried to heal. I got a couple migraines, and they were really bad, confusional migraines, where I was struggling to put together words and just really scary stuff. I was exhausted. My kids knew I was exhausted, and they said, "Mommy's sick all the time." And they'd pray for me all the time. And we just, as a family, have been really going after that and praying for a solution. Hadn't found one. And fast forward a little bit, Tiffany said, "Hey, I'm joining Trinot. It's doing something super great for me." And I said, "I'm not a salesperson." And she's like, "That's fine." And I was like, "Okay, that's all." And at dinner, just the next day, she handed me a little tiny white pill, and she's like, "Here, this is good for you. Take it before dinner." And I was like, "Okay." So I did, and it was fine. But that night I didn't want dessert, and I wasn't super full, but I was very satisfied, I didn't need more sugar, which I always need more sugar.
Yes.
And it goes this super high, super low, super high, super low, just in my feelings. And as far as energy goes, probably blood sugar, I don't know. But she gave me that pill. I didn't want dessert. I slept so well that night. Only, I think, 6 hours of sleep, but I woke up as if I had had 12 hours of sleep. Got up before my husband, made coffee, cleaned my whole house. I just started doing all this weird, happy things like Jesus time in the morning and all this great stuff. We took a walk, and on the walk, David's my husband was "So you're different." And at that point, I realized I didn't have brain fog anymore. And brain fog for me is debilitating. It's really hard for me to just connect with reality because I just feel like I'm in a fog and I can't focus because I'm distracted by my brain, I guess. And that's really tough. If anybody knows what that's like, it's very unfortunate. And I have lived for it. I've lived with it for 15 years. But I didn't have it. Jackie, that is the first time in so long that I felt normal. I didn't even know what normal felt like, honestly. And
Wow.
so I told my husband and I was like, I don't have brain fog anymore. And he's like, what? I was like, I have all this energy. And so I made breakfast. I made like fresh milled wheat pancakes and I
Wow.
ate them, which is a really big deal because normally I'll eat them and then take a nap because my blood sugar crashes again. I didn't nap. I cleaned my entire pantry. Like,
Wow,
spot.
that's a big deal.
It's so cute. I'm like, I don't do stuff like that because usually I'm exhausted and I have two little boys that I love playing with. And normally I can't play with them like I would like to, but I am. And so I started taking what Tiffany had given me. I was like, can you please give me more? I just need this. I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing something massive. And my entire life after I was like running at probably 40% my normal capacity. And now I'm at 100%. 100%. Like that's so big.
Goodness. Oh, congrats. That's so great. So through this whole process, did you go to see any doctors or anything like that?
I had gone to see a doctor. We did some blood work. It was non-conclusive. I wasn't like hypoglycemic or I didn't have diabetes or anything, but they only do the blood test when you're in the office. So I didn't have a blood test monitor or anything. Currently I am under a physician's care and he's great and he's holistic. And so he does know what I'm taking and is very proud that I found something awesome that's working for me.
That's so good. I love that. So I have to tell you, and I hope Ashley doesn't mind me sharing this, but when she sent me a voice text the day after she took it. So the night she took it and then the next day, and she started crying on the phone because she said, I've gone to these doctors and nobody knows what this is. And this is the first thing that has ever helped me. And I really do feel like myself. She's like, I'm at Shields with my boys and we're having a great day. And there's, I feel great and I look great. And anyway, I'm just so happy for you that you found something. If you feel like you've experienced any of these issues. So for myself, I'll just tell briefly. I know my following has heard my story bazillions of times, but I did wear a glucose monitor and I found that my blood sugar was dropping so low at night. So we're in the 40s, which if you know anything about blood sugar, that is dangerously low, like alarms would go off. I'd get up and eat to get my blood sugar up like at 3 a.m. I had some chiropractors looking, I had doctors looking, I talked to a nutritionist because this has been a long journey for me as well. But on day 3 of using Transform, it was completely stable through the night, all of 90s. So great. Not only that though, is I'm losing weight because I'm no longer like eating sugar. Like Ashley said, like I was such a sugarholic. Like it was like discipline for me. Like I would go on these like cleanses and I would cut out sugar. And it was like, I just wanted it so bad. This is the first time I legit haven't wanted it. Right?
Oh,
isn't that weird?
First time in my life.
Like I have always been like I'd be like, had a hard day and like, I deserve to stop by the gas station and get some Nerds clusters or some chocolate on the way home. Like that's the kind of person I've always been like my whole life, except for like when I'm like cut it out. But now I don't even want it. Like that's the greatest thing because my blood sugars aren't crashing. And I know that because I was watching my monitor and I was watching the app on my phone. And so I was like, oh, my blood sugar's not crashing. Like today, for instance, I've only eaten one meal. Like, well, I had a protein shake this morning for breakfast, and then I've eaten like one good lunch meal. I had the Transform, and then that's it. Like, and
Same.
well, it's like, yeah, it's like crazy. Like I used to eat like constantly throughout the day just to keep that blood sugar up. And I just don't feel the need to do that anymore. And I think that's why Ashley is a little different than me. She does not, of course, need to lose any weight. But for me, I think that's why I'm losing weight is just because I'm not like constantly getting those calories in to keep my blood sugar up. And then the energy is a real thing. Like I feel like I'm like that the night I was like doing laundry at 10. Like, I don't know, like just not crashing like I used to, which is really crazy.
And I don't fall asleep because I'm exhausted. Like that has been something that's really wild. Every night I would be asleep at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I just pooped, fall asleep in my kid's bed. Like I was just so tired and I wasn't doing anything.
I know.
And now I'm going to my bed, totally ready to go to bed. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. And then I'll fall asleep fast. Like it's wild.
Good. I love it. I love it. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. It's going to help so many people. If you deal with any of these issues, please go back to the person who shared this video with you. I know they would love to give you info. And if you are looking to make a little extra money, I can't end this live video without saying the amazing momentum that's happening right now in this company is like nothing I've ever seen. I've been in this industry for 9 years and I've never seen anything like it. So please go back to the person who invited you and just see how you can get in on this, because Christmas is coming. And I am believing so many people are going to be able to pay for Christmas because they're helping people and getting compensated for it. Because what, like you said before, why, if this is going to help so many people, why wouldn't you get paid to do it? Right?
You have to. It's like your responsibility. If you know something good and you don't share it, it's wrong, you know?
For sure.
So
all right. Well, thank you, Ashley, so much. And again, go back to the person who shared this with you. They'd love to give you more